So, since this is my first semester teaching this course, many of you in the mid-semester evaluation had asked for more examples of what I was looking for the assignment. And since it is my first semester doing this, I don't have any examples. I haven't accumulated any examples of student work yet. So, instead of that, I thought that one thing I would do at least for both the first and second assignment combined in this video is, I don't know, like kind of walk you through me actually trying to do the assignment. And that way, if you get a little bit of insight into how I'm thinking about the assignment, that may help you kind of work through this. So let's just start with the first assignment here. And I'm just going to make this up as we're going along. So as many of you know, I am an economist, and so let's say that I am the issue problem that I am interested in is the value of the minimum wage. Okay, so there, I've got a stated thing that I'm interested in. I don't have to justify why I'm specifically interested in it. It's just that I am, for whatever reason. And for me, there's not really too much I can critique you for on this part of it. Now, for the background information, what I'm trying to do here is I need to then justify to the reader, in this case me, I need to justify to myself that there is a need for an investigation of this topic, so that we need to know more about the value of the minimum wage. What would I do with such a study, with such an understanding of the minimum wage? And are there any parameters or boundaries for this investigation? So let's say something like the following. And obviously, if I was, submitting this, it would be much more formal. I'm doing this without investigation. You would want to have done this kind of investigation. Okay. I am certain that if simple Wikipedia entry here can tell me more about it, but also much more interestingly, right? Some of my initial references for this section could come from the Pew Research Center, a reputable economics research center. Basically, you're demonstrating to me in this section that there is something there, that this is worthwhile. Look what I can show you, right? Here's my minimum wage. This is the purchasing power of the minimum wage, and we can certainly see that in this case, this is being adjusted to today's dollars, is that the minimum wage used to buy a lot more. It also, alternatively, used to buy a lot less when it was first instituted. So now we've got a debate, right? Now it's not so certain that it needs to increase or not, right? So here we've got people pushing for $15 an hour. Is that necessarily what we want to do? That would mean in this case, um, more than doubling the current wage, which would be a historically high purchasing power to the minimum wage. That's not necessarily a bad thing or good thing. That's just um, what it is. Right here, adjusted for inflation, federal minimum wage peaked in 68 with a current purchasing power of $8.54. But look at this. 29 states already have higher minimum wages. So now, what's the point of having a federal minimum wage when more than half of the states and more than half of the population have a higher wage already? Okay, so let's go back to this. Right, then I could make some references to the Pew Research Center study. Maybe I could make some references to what I found on scholar.google.com. Maybe I could make some references to what I found on EBSCOhost. Here I would give a brief historical background to the minimum wage and present the challenges and even the misconceptions of a minimum wage policy. Right? We just said $15 an hour, right? It's hard to say no to the working person and say you don't deserve $15 an hour. Yet, as we just saw, that would reflect a minimum wage that is twice as generous as it's ever been. That. There we go. We're up for debate now. Okay, now for a research question and hypothesis, I want to make sure that I have something limited enough that I could actually do an investigation of, and it actually has to be a research question or a testable hypothesis. So what would not be acceptable is I want to do a history of the minimum wage. Because there's no research question there. There is nothing there that I could investigate, right? I'd just be doing a history. So, so when I was writing this here, you see that I went back a little bit to geographically limit it to Hawaii. I present the issue, a proposal of something that one might want to do. In this case, right, I'm certain that there are activists in Hawaii who would like the minimum wage to be higher than the federal minimum wage here. Certainly the cost of living is higher here in general. Okay, so if we do that, what are the economic consequences? Essentially, how much would the unemployment rate increase, and in what industries would this be affected, right? We might not expect that the hotels are going to shut down or do with fewer valets or something like that, but maybe there would be fewer McDonald's, or maybe there would be fewer 7-Elevens, right? And then we have to ask ourselves whether we're willing to accept that. But what you can see here is that in my statement of my research question and hypothesis, I geographically limited it, and there's something being asked that I haven't designed the study yet of how I would actually answer this. That's a different assignment. Here, I'm just finding what my research question is. What are the economic consequences of having increased the minimum wage? And in here, in the reference list, I would start building what references I'm turning to. Okay. Now, for assignment number 2 then, essentially what we're doing here is that you're building out this reference list much more. So, if you did your work very well on the first assignment, this shouldn't be that tough. My apologies for this cough. You are building up your reference list. You do need to have it in APA style. Probably, I would suggest to you what I have found oftentimes is that worldcat.org, and if you're using this through your campus connection, that this is an incredibly good way to search academic sources and even get your reference. So I'm just searching for myself because I love myself. Yeah, there is another economist named Oliver Scheiding. Let's just search for myself here. Here we go. Okay, so let's just pick a research article that I wrote here. So what's nice about this, right, is that I can start to find these certain topics, but then look at right here, cite export. When I find something that I like, look at that, APA. With the information that I have, or what this database has, it's provided me the exact APA format. I don't even have to think about how to do it. Let's find here a journal article of mine. There we go. Exact same thing. So, if you're worried about how to actually cite things, this isn't citation class here. I'm not asking you to do that. Really what you're doing is you're getting comfortable with how to do research. And quite frankly, when I have to create my references for any work I do, I use WorldCat quite a bit. Now there are websites that are listed on here about how to create the reference list yourself, but I would suggest if there are websites that do the work for you, I would just leave it to the websites to do it for you. Again, hopefully in the way that you've done your work on the first assignment, just collecting these references shouldn't be this shouldn't be a very difficult assignment. Okay, I'm going to save my throat for right now, but this basically then serves as a good overview of how you should have been thinking about assignments 1 and 2. and I'll make a follow-up video for each of the for assignment 3, 4, and 5.